All right, so what I did was I took all those tracks, all these output tracks, and I moved them all up here to sit underneath your drum track. I just moved them. I did the control click and then clicked them, and then I just dragged them, and I dragged them right here, just so they're sitting underneath the drums you've made already. So now what I'm gonna do is make a folder. So the way this works like in Windows, you've got folders, and then you've got folders under folders, and then you got files under that, right? It's just a big tree. The same thing works with Reaper. And not only can you organize that way, but the signal routing goes the same way. So like if you've got a track that's under another folder, or under another track, and under another track, it just routes up. So what that means is, so I'll show you an example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here. I'm going to insert a new track. And I'm going to put this above all the drums. And I'm going to double click and call this drum bus. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the first item, first drum track. I'm going to go, we're not going to need all these, but I want them here for now, just to mess around. And I'm going to shift click to get them all, get all the tracks. And if you can grab these and you see this little blue line? This is telling you where it's going to put the track, or put the tracks. So if you see there's a little indent there, it will stick them underneath that folder. Okay. So now you can adjust the volume of this drum bus up and down, and it's going to affect everything that's underneath it. So it's like a parent track. You know what I mean? It's like a bus on a mixing board. You can also mute this drum bus, and it'll mute everything underneath it. It's just like a master track basically. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna route all of your, and this is gonna be a minute. I gotta go in and actually route all these to.
So
this is gonna take a minute.
So it's taking the same like recorded settings of the master modo, and it's just moving them to each.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. What I'm going to do is, once I get all this routing set up, but basically what will happen is inside Moto Drum, you've got.
As long as we don't have to go back and reselect each.
Nope.
Okay, that's good.
Nope.
Okay, that's good.
Absolutely not. All your MIDI is going to be on one track, just like it is. Everything's going to behave the same way.
Okay.
The only difference is that all the audio is going to be split up into individual tracks. It's really easy to understand. It's like you want to turn your kick up, you just turn the little dial on your kick, and it turns the kick up.
Yeah.
It's easier than going into the plugin, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see, where is the?
Yeah, and that was a thing that was worrying me too, is because like I couldn't get the drums to really be at the level I wanted without them clipping.
Oh yeah, that can happen.
And I think it was because it was just raising everything up.
Yep.
So it was like clipping because of that.
When you start like adding, it's funny. You start doing a song, everything's fine. By the time you got 10 tracks in there, it just all adds up, and then you got to try and go and turn everything down individually, and it gets a little hard. But yeah, so I'm gonna take a minute and do. I'm gonna need to route these. All right, it's receiving track 5. Post fader, post fat pan. Pre fader, post effects. Yeah. This is good. And you don't need to worry about what I'm doing right now. I'm basically going in and I'm routing this drum track into every single one of these. This isn't something you'd have to do from scratch if you were to insert all these tracks when the plugin wants you to, like at the beginning, they would all be routed correctly. But you don't even have to do that. I'm gonna make a drum template for you that you literally can one click just put it in a new song. It'll be ready to go. So that'll be way easy. Let me just see if this worked. I'm gonna open up the MIDI drum. All right, so we've got. Let me go to the mixer. And here's your kick. All right, and it's going into the master right now. I'm going to change this to 3 and 4. There it is. There it is. It's working. What's up?
Wasn't it that one?
And it was this one too. Yeah, we want to do 3 and 4. and do this with all these other ones. This needs to be, like I can do it this way. 5 and 6. Yeah, 5 and 6. And then post effects. Oh my god. 7, 8. Source, what was that? That was 5 and 6. 7 and 8. 9 and 10. 9 and 10. Post variable. This is 11 and 12. We're not going to need a ton of tracks. 11, 12. Post effects. 13, 14. Let's just say, I'm going to leave these numbers in here. This is probably going to be kick. This is probably going to be snare. This is probably going to be, there's 5 toms? Tom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 overheads in a room. That's probably what we're going to do. I'm going to guess. Tom 1, Tom 2, Tom 3, Tom 4, Tom 5, and then what did I say? Overhead left. Actually, no, we can just do both overheads. And then I don't know if there's a room mic or not. I don't know what this program has. We're going to find out. All right, let's see. This is 13, 14. 14, post effects, 15, 16, post effects, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then post effects. Okay. Let's just see what, okay, so now I'm going to save. So I think what I've done is I've routed all these, well, I haven't done it yet, but I've set all these tracks up to receive all this info. Or receive all the microphones. So let me see here. Let's open this up. All right. So we've got kick running to 3 and 4. Let's run snare. The snare? Snappy as shit. 2, 5, and 6.
I think so. That's definitely not the same snare that I'm using.
That's not?
Or I think there's a couple different snares in this on the metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, snare as a track is routing to 5 and 6. Let's just see if let's just play part of the song and see if we can see. What happened? Let's just play some of the song and see if it's actually going to the right track. No, it's obviously it's louder than it was before because we haven't fixed the volume and stuff. Yeah. But is that the right snare?
Yeah, I mean the one that you played back just now.
Okay, yeah, cool. That's good. That means everything's working.
Oh, good.
Yeah, at least it's actually nice. The mixer has a little reference at the top that you can click to make sure you can hear what's going on. All right, so Tom, we want to run to 7 and 8. This goes to 8 and 9, or 9 and 10. Tom 3, 11 and 12. 13, 14. 15, 16. There's a hi-hat track. We don't really need that on its own track. We can do that to the overheads. Let's see. 15, 16. Hi-hat will run to the overheads, which is 17, 18. Ride custom, there's a ride symbol. Let's run those to the overheads, 17, 18. Where's the rest? Oh, here it is. Oh god. Alright. Crash. Alright. Crash. Working so far? Oh, we haven't done that one yet. There's the ride. Yeah, ride's going to overheads. Yay. Sweet. Alright. 17, 18.
I see what you're saying. So it's like, so this is like setting up like an individual track for the entire kit.
Basically.
And it can be copy and pasted into any other track beyond that point.
Yeah, you could. So you could, basically what we're going to do is when we're done here, this drum bus is fucking done for any song. So then we can turn this into this whole clump with all your custom naming and everything into like a template or like a preset. So when you open a brand new song, you can right click on that. Instead of just double clicking and making a drum track, you can right click and choose to insert a template, and it just goes, and all your, and you can do that with any of your stuff. If you really like the lead tone you got, we can save that as a lead tone preset, and then you can just plop it to a new project, and it's already set up. So we can do that with a couple of your things. I'll show you how to do it. Let's see, what's this? It's I like the sound of this software.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not familiar with Modo Drum. That is not. There's a lot of them now.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked on it like right away. You even just like because it lets you do like a free demo version of it for like a certain amount of time. And I was stoked even just on like the stock like studio version of the drums. I was like, whoa, this sounds like
Already sounds good.
yeah. And then I found there was a metal plugin, and I was like, holy shit, this sounds like exactly how I want it to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, I know that there's a way that like my friend Matt was kind of tweaking with like the kick and stuff. There's a way that you can like compress it or edit the tone or EQ all the drums. I don't know if that's like a full-on mixing process or not. Like I don't know if that's something Eric would do.
I guess it just depends on what you're willing to do. But like, what was he doing? What was it?
Just like the kick drum, he was like adding it like more bassiness to it. Or
That's more of a mixing thing. Yeah. That's something that you would do on like the kick track here, as opposed to trying to go in here and mess around. Yeah. And what will happen is when you render these out for Eric, he'll be rendering each one of these individually. So he'll end up with a kick, a snare, a tom. Like it'll be like he mic'd his own kit, and then he can do whatever he wants to any of them. Oh, nice. But what's cool is that you only have to you just have to edit a MIDI. You don't have to worry about putting kicks and snares on every single track, that would suck. So everything's gonna be way too loud now. That's everything. There's no like overhead. I'm still wondering why. I'm just gonna mute that. I'm going to change this routing and I'm going to take off this parent. Yeah, no, it's going to sound dry and weird. All right.
That already sounds better.
Well, it's fucking loud, that's for sure. So I'm going to take, I'm going to go in here now. All right. Try to explain this. So you've got a compressor on here, and you're using it, right? I mean, this is currently like you've got it. Yeah, you've got a compressor. What's the Samplematic doing in here? Were you doing anything with this?
I don't even remember what
Okay.
that was for.
And the MIDI choke, this was an attempt to try and choke stuff. Okay. Do you need it?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm gonna delete it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm basically gonna reorganize the way this is set up. So,
Yeah.
and what was the Samplematic for?
I can't even remember.
Doesn't matter. I'm gonna leave it. And so the reason I ask is because like now this track here, the one you're editing on, its only job is to send MIDI. There's no audio coming out of this track anymore. All of the audio comes out of these bottom ones. So this compressor here doesn't do anything because it doesn't. It needs to live in the parent. It needs to live at the drum bus. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm gonna move it. I'm gonna move this compressor to the parent. I'm gonna delete it from here. I guess what I'm trying to say is that now you want that compressor to come after the audio. You know what I mean? You have all the drums need to go into that compressor, and the way to do that is to put the compressor here in the parent, because all the drums live under that. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Just in the order of where it's placed.
Yeah, basically. So everything runs like Windows folders now. So all these tracks live underneath this drum bus folder. And so anything you do to the drum bus folder, any effects you put on here, will apply to everything down here. And so what I just did is I took the compressor out of here. This is just your brain for running MIDI. And I took the compressor out and then centered it up here.
Yeah. I'm not even sure how much good the compressor was even doing.
Don't know. Not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like it was capping that snare. I could see it cutting the snare off.
Oh, okay.
The snare might have been hot or something. But so the other thing you did is you've got this volume. The volume of the drums is turned down negative 12.3. So I'm going to do the same thing to all these. Okay, we're not going to need these tracks. Actually, we don't need the room either, because we're just not going to use them. So I'm going to delete them. Boop. So now you've got all this audio happening like in here. See all that audio?
Yeah.
So now you can go and like solo your tom. Maybe you don't use tom 2 in that part. Tom 1. How about tom 2? Yep, fuck yeah you do. So now you've got individual tracks for individual drums. Make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
So that's done. I'm recording this, but you don't need to do this a bunch. This is just so like you know why we're doing that in case you ever want to go back and look. So I'm gonna save this. So the last thing I want to do is change the volume so it's about where it was originally, negative 12.3. I'm gonna grab all these tracks and then I'm gonna turn their volumes down to negative 12.3. So you're starting exactly where you were before. Well, negative 12. Can't fucking. How about negative 12.4? Great, good enough. So now you're right where you were. I don't know. Does that sound to you like? Does that sound like it's louder than it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna mute all these. And see if we're still getting audio. Good, we're not. Okay. So now, okay, let me look here. Make sure I'm clip on that snare. Yeah, you're not clipping anywhere here. That's great. All right. So now, if you want to adjust the volume of your drums, you got this drum bus folder here, and this is where you do it. So you just turn this.
That's like the master volume.
It's the master volume of all of your drums. So you can put it exactly where you want. Don't know where you want it. I don't know. Just guessing. So I think that's it for drums. Did we do it? I think we did it. Okay. Well, now I'm gonna show you one other thing that I think is
The pinch
Ah, the pinch thing. I'm gonna stop this and start it.